Hello everybody, so welcome back, episode number 13 now, Edgewater, Saskatchewan. It is April, there is no snow, which is wonderful. I do like the snow, but it does make it difficult. So it has revealed this is definitely fully grown, so we have got this potentially to cut, but hey, let's hold off, what's the point, because we have got this field over here which is starting to grow now actually, so we've skipped through a month, as I do at the beginning of every episode. So it's on its very first growth stage, but it looks pretty good. Doesn't look like from here I've missed anything, which makes a change. I have noticed at the bottom though, it is saying pH value is bad, which is annoying because that was showing good before we planted it. Obviously, the effort that's gone into doing this, we need that to be right, so potentially liming. I wasn't intending on doing that, but potentially we will need to get on with some liming. This time around though, we will fully stock up on lime. Probably buy 4 or 5 bags maybe and keep the remainder here. Because last time I cut it very close. Very, very close in fact. So what's changed? Wow, absolutely nothing. I literally haven't changed it since I took the screenshot of the last episode. But I do have a few things that I want to get on with today. I've got a very rough idea. This path didn't turn out too bad actually, considering I did that in between all the white and the snow. That looks alright. Just needs leveling a little bit. So we'll have a look at that. But the main thing I want to achieve is the pigs. I want to get the placeable in place. Ideally, I want to get some pigs, probably 2, maybe 4. Of course, the trailers you have the choice of on Crossplay are not particularly amazing. So, based on our budget, which still isn't a great deal to be honest with you, we will probably have to buy a cheap trailer. One that will take 2 at a time, I think. I have downloaded a few mods from ModHub. But of course the animal dealership is quite far away, so by the time I've been there once, maybe twice, I'll probably get bored, so we'll stick with that. The great news is though, I will show you ever so slightly, ever so quickly, there is a recently added mod for pigs, which is great because there never was much variety, but it's this one here, let's say Rustic Stables Pack. I don't quite know if you would call it a stable for pigs, but yeah, so it's around 15,000. May need a little bit of ground flattening when it gets laid, but it's yeah, I haven't actually looked at it. That doesn't look a bad size. In actual fact, that is quite a big bit of field there, isn't it? Compared to the size of this. So this will hold 20. Now I was initially looking at one that would hold 10 pigs, but that was 10,000, which I thought was okay, but this one's 15 and holds 20. So I think that's the way to go. Would you say that's kind of fitting with the map and Canadian looking? I have no idea, probably not, just because it's more kind of brick and not so much fence, but I think we can get away with that. I'm sure someone will let me know if I can get away with it anyway, but I think we'll be placing that today, and we'll certainly put at least 2 pigs into there, and it'll be somewhere there. In the meantime, let's jump into the pickup truck. Do you know what? It's probably worth actually taking the trailer, which means we've got to lift that off, which is fine, we'll do that real quick. Yeah, I think we'll take the trailer and let's get quite a few bags of lime. It's not expensive, we have got a bit of spare money. In theory, we're only going to be spending $20,000. I almost said pounds. $20,000 of that 45 today. So we will stock up on some things that we need. I know we've got a couple of spare barrels of fuel. Let's turn it into kind of a working farm. Let's have some reserves. Right, I'll just switch these around a little bit. Okay, so let's move the barrels. I don't quite know where the best place is to put these. So there, looks pretty good. We'll just reverse the tractor up, get that forage wagon out of the way. I will do a tiny bit more landscaping because now I can see properly without the snow in the way. I want to kind of smooth this out a bit. That to me, again, my realism head, that just looks completely odd. So I do need to do a little bit correct, and I won't put that on screen though, and I won't time lapse it because that will literally only take me a minute. But for a second, let's move this forage wagon, and then I imagine I'll probably jump it back in with the ground looking a little bit better. Okay, just tweaked it a little bit there. That feels a bit better. Looks a little bit more organised and real, I suppose. So I'm just going to leave that there. I think that's a good little spot. We will be using that again. Definitely. Right, good. So we'll just jump straight into the pickup and head back down to the shop. Now, I've noticed that people are talking about it quite a lot actually, but the Lizard F1350 has come out. I think people have been waiting such a long time for it, and it is a really cool looking mod. Obviously it's kind of a Ford, it's almost identical to a Ford, but you know, I still prefer what we got. I still think this is a cool looking truck, but I have downloaded it, I have installed it, I haven't actually tried it. I've just looked at screenshots. If it comes up in the shop as kind of a sale item, then maybe I might get it just as a second truck. Maybe we'll have a little bit of a truck collection going on. I think that would be pretty cool. Anyway, right, let's head on down. This shouldn't take me too long. Hopefully I don't do anything silly like I almost did then, but I will catch you back at the shop. Okay, here we are, just pulling back in now. So I'm going to jump straight to the shop menu. I don't know how many bags to get. I want to say it's only like 800 quid a bag. $800 a bag, I should say. Sorry, Rob. But it isn't a huge amount, so let's just overload it. Oh, it's even cheaper than I thought. Yeah, so 8. Yeah, let's go for that. Now, while we're here and we have the trailer, we're not going to need any seeds. Probably for a long time, in fact, because that grass won't need seeding again. Maybe a bit of pig food, because of course pigs pretty much eat anything. That's the beauty of pigs in this game. They kind of eat pretty much anything, but we haven't got anything to give them. And that isn't bad, is it? 1,000 litres for 900 quid. It might work out cheaper doing it this way, because this mod, by the way, if you haven't noticed, gives you pretty much double the amount compared to what you actually pay for it when you buy it individually. But it is a bit tedious loading up these bags. So yeah, those smaller bags there, they work out about $500, I think, per 1,000. So it is a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper, but it's also a lot more handling, especially when it comes to feeding the pigs. So I think, what would that be for? 4,000 litres of pig food. Let's go with that. We don't want to just spend too much for the sake of it. It's nice to see that money figure in the top corner. It's a nice balance, but that will soon disappear. Now, how has it loaded those bags? Okay, that's not great. See if we can get 4 bags at a time. I'm pretty sure you can. I reckon we'll be able to do that. So just while I'm fiddling around with this, I'm just going to do, rather than clip it, I'm just going to do a bit of talking over the top. So, yeah, just in relation to the channel, to be honest with you. So, I mean, I'm quite amazed. As of filming this now, it is, I think it's Monday, so I'm pretty up to date with the filming. These are relatively kind of recent episodes. I haven't pre-recorded loads and loads at the minute, but I have just gone over, I think 502 maybe now, the 500 mark for subs. So I mean, amazing, absolutely amazing. It was the 21st of January when I edited and uploaded the first proper episode of Series 2 of the roleplay, which is the one in Valley Spring, which kind of seems to be my most popular series at the minute. But it was the 21st of January, and on the 21st of January I had 74 subscribers. And now, you know, 7 weeks later, coming up to 8 weeks later, I've just got over 500. So that, I mean, I didn't expect it. I really didn't expect it. And all I'm doing is recording what I enjoy. So it's still fun. I'm not likely to burn myself out anytime soon, hopefully. I might burn my good lady out though, she'll get fed up with me. But for me, no. It takes a lot to get burnt out of this kind of game, I think. Definitely. That's what I like about using the telehandler over the forklift. The forks are just so much longer. You know, forklifts, they struggle to get two of these on. This is doing it with loads of space. It's probably not far off getting a third row, to be honest, but it's just so much quicker. Especially when you're kind of doing it realistically and without the kind of cheeky super strength when no one's looking. But that was pretty good. So it's quite neat going, really. Right, that's that done, so we can head back to the farm. Okay, here we are. We are back at the farm. Nice and green. Lovely. Right, so we just got to get all of these unloaded. I wonder if for a minute, just to save me a bit of hassle, I could probably fill the fertilizer spreader up directly from the trailer. So we'll leave them on there for a second. We also need to take the pig food down towards where it's going to end up being placed, so not really too much point unloading too much of it. Now something I kind of added an additional rule in, I guess, since the first episode of the first series, but I was having a bit of chat with Dynamics in the comments, and I kind of thought on the spot, we was talking about contracts and things off screen. I don't like to do things off screen. I don't like to do too many contracts off screen. I just feel it's probably better to see what's happening and how the money's being earned. However, what I did decide is any contracts that I do off screen, I'm going to use that money that's earned just purely for kind of cosmetic stuff, the decorative stuff, things like a house and fencing and, you know, the realism side of things, just to make it look more like a farm. So where even is it? Oh, it's there then. So yeah, any money that I do in contracts, which I do off of screen, that money is only going to be spent on the cosmetic stuff, the stuff that's not actually going to kind of change too much of the farm itself. I just think it's a better idea to do that, to be honest with you. Right, now concentrate on what you're doing. Let's unload this here. Did that empty it? No, because I left another bag. Of course I did. Right, let's see if it will let us fill up from here. Don't know if I have to remove the straps. Maybe I do. Yep, I definitely had to remove the straps. Good, okay, there's our first load. So while we're here, I think we'll go over this grass again as well, and I don't know if it is going to need any, but we may as well. Yeah, I mean it must need them because the precision farming is putting it down onto the ground, so let's get that done. Very, very soon this area which we are in now, don't know how much of it, but probably quite a bit of it, will be a property. And it will be a nice garden and some fencing and driveways and like a proper kind of Canadian American style. Oh my god, that's empty already. Yeah, proper kind of Canadian American style house, I think. Just try and make it look as good as I can. Right, I think I will time lapse it. This bit here obviously isn't going to take very long, but the other field may do. I imagine that's going to be a lot of to-ing and fro-ing. So I will time lapse it. I'll catch you in a moment. Okay, pretty good. So it did use a bit of lime, but not anywhere near as much as we bought, so that's fine. It doesn't need fertiliser, and I just ran over the field there briefly, but it's just the right kind of level, so the nitrogen's just right for grass. Obviously grass is quite low anyway, so doesn't need any more, which is good. It saves a bit of money. So for a minute that is done. Now I'm not going to cut this grass here until the rest of it's ready to go, and we'll do it in one big session, and that will be a big session, by the way. I think that'll be a massive session. But in the meantime, that's it now. That's it for grass work. I did just off screen adapt this ever so slightly, so I just put a bit more of a nice smooth slope onto it as well, so that should make some difference. Just thought I'd point that out there, that you might have noticed the money had gone down ever so slightly more. So we're pretty good now. There's not a lot to do. That's generating us some passive income in the meantime. Now one thing I have done actually, I'll mention now I'm thinking about it, is I did download and activate the maple syrup mod. Obviously, naturally, you know, when I talk about things that suit the map, there's probably not anything better than a maple syrup mod to suit a Canadian map. So that potentially is something we can look at doing. I don't think it's overly cost effective. I just don't know what it's like for money. I don't want something that kind of generates just a silly amount of money. So if anyone's used it, I've seen it briefly in episodes. I think Daggerwin's one of Daggerwin's survival challenge series, but I can't really remember if he did well out of it. If it's a mod that's kind of okay for money, so decent money but not unrealistic amounts of money, then fine, we'll place it somewhere. We'll probably place it in that section over there in the distance there where I said I'd be putting the house actually, because eventually that's not going to be any cuttable grass. So, but yeah, no, if you've used it, let me know. I don't want something that's going to generate us too much money. The lettuce is borderline too much money, just because I like to play it difficult. I know I could change the difficulty down, and I could change it to, you know, a harder setting, but that's too difficult. I just like to find the right balance, if that makes sense. That probably doesn't make sense, to be honest. Probably makes absolutely no sense at all. Right, let's make sure I don't have the same accident as I nearly had before. It looks like it wants to let me pick it up, but it doesn't. Is that going to fall off? Find out. Right, I'm just going to pull that there. So, the magic of editing. I am just going to jump out back into ModHub, because what I think would be quite cool, I know you can landscape, you can smooth these out, and it's hardly it reminds you saying that, it's not even a dip at all, is it? What I was going to say is, I was just going to download one of those bridge mods and put a little bridge in, but to be honest, that is pretty much level. Yeah, so I don't really need to do anything like that at all. Right, well let's move the character out of the way, because that does cause a lot of issues when you go into construction. Let's get straight into construction mode and have a look at where we're going to put the pigs. Now I do need to think ahead, because that's not the only thing potentially we can use this for. In fact, that is just so much bigger than I thought it was before. For some reason in my head I just thought it was a small little piece of land, but yeah, that is big, especially when you compare that pigsty. We could get like 6 of them in here, probably more. So I don't know where to do it, because we're going to need to use this area for other things. Maybe even like eventually like a little secondary yard and a shed and things. That would be quite cool. But I'm not too sure. Now, I've left some of the markers on, so I can kind of tell, not that you can see them, where are they? Where you have to put things. So it's going to be, I'm assuming water, and food near at the bottom, and then that bit in front of the gates must be where you unload the pigs. So I need to be able to get access to the two side bits, and actually there's no benefit to, or is there? Oh, I wonder if it stores slurry, because that would be quite handy. I don't know, you know. It does say that it needs water actually manually put into it. Now that changes it a bit. That's a bit annoying. Because although it's realistic, it's the kind of thing you forget to do. So this is the one I was looking at initially. This is 12,800, only holds 10. It's also pretty big. But you don't have to water. But that, I mean, that's definitely not Canadian style, I would say. This one here, it's quite cool looking. You've got to water it anyway. No, it's alright. We've got a water tank. What I really want to do eventually, by the way, and this all kind of works into the final plan, I want to get, I think I might have mentioned it before, I want to get the big kind of state style trucks, the big Max or something equivalent, the TLX Phoenix or something like that, but I don't really use them. I've never really used them much, and something like that with a huge water tanker would be pretty cool. So yeah, I don't mind that we have to put some water into it, and again it just gives us more to do when we do start getting some helpers on board, so not a problem. But I still don't know how I'm going to place this. I'm just going to have a little think a minute. Okay, I think we're going to go for it like that, because I want to be able to access around the back of it. So let's pop that there. Good. Nice pig noise then as you placed it. Lovely. So yeah, I want to be able to access the back of it, because although it doesn't seem to have kind of a... Let's get rid of that a minute. It doesn't have a trigger there. I'm assuming, I'm hoping you can access this to get the slurry from it. Now, it doesn't really have anywhere for manure, so I'm probably going to have to install some sort of Crossplay compatible manure pit, because the kind of in-game one is like 40 or grand. It's a bit silly, and it's probably bigger than the whole pigsty. So I am going to have to look at that. I will do that off of screen in a mo. But for a minute, I think that would do. And there's enough room there. We own the land up to about here. So there's enough room to get a big truck around there eventually. And potentially we can have a whole kind of ring road with more things in the middle. So I'm just very quickly going to do a little bit of painting. Okay, right. A little bit of editing and done. Hopefully it's worked out okay. Interestingly enough, this little bit of grass field, let us plant it, let us put the lime on it, but apparently we don't actually own it, so I couldn't landscape it. Now, some people would be screaming at the screen because I've literally planted it, limed it, and then painted over it to make a road. Yeah, I do things like that. Sometimes my whole realism head overpowers me and I get a bit carried away. But I mean, it's only lost us probably 500 litres of grass. It's fine, it doesn't matter. I tried to keep some of the water in here because I thought that looked pretty cool, but I deleted a bit too much of it. I'm a bit gutted I did that. So I have to see if I can do something to make that look a bit better. But anyway, here we go. So I've done kind of a track all the way around it. I've added some bushes and things to make it look realistic, just because it looks nicer. So we can get around there pretty easy with a tractor and a truck. Probably not a big truck, maybe I'm a bit too optimistic there. And then I've just edited around here as well. So hopefully, I don't know what we need to get to. I need to get rid of that random bit of field though. One thing I noticed was this was like brand new concrete inside of a pigsty. I mean, I've never seen a pigsty with brand new concrete, so I just added a load of mud. It looks a bit better, doesn't it? Right, so I need to jump into the menu and see. It may not. Yeah, so it doesn't actually allow us to see what this requires until we put some pigs in it, but I'm kind of hoping. I mean, it does actually in the bottom, it does say straw, and it does also say slurry, so the fact that it wants straw means it's able to produce manure. So I do need to add something. And the fact that it produces slurry means that this probably is the point where you collect slurry. Now, I could probably know for definite if I just turned all of the interactive markers on, but I just like to play it without them on as much as possible, so that's fine. We need to check what's on sale first of all. Not a lot, not anything that we need. And get some form of animal transport, because that is the next thing. Probably the last thing, in fact, to do in this episode. So, animal transport. What have we got here which will take pigs? It's probably going to have to be... Okay, well, I mean, that's £6,000. But it will bring 4 pigs. Which is alright, actually. I didn't think we'd be spending 6,000 though. I thought I could end the episode with about 20,000 left over. I've got more installed. I know I've got more installed. Maybe it's in with trailers. Or maybe it's in with the miscellaneous stuff. What's that? Okay, right, so that would do 2 pigs. That's probably more like it. Yeah. So although it would be nicer to do 4 at a time, that would be much better. We're not in a position where we can spend too much money. To be honest, I've not even really considered how much the pigs are going to cost, and I haven't even really looked at how much they cost. In fact, I think I've said it before. I like a lot of people, certainly YouTubers that I watch. I've not really ever done pigs. Yeah, it just seems to be chickens, cows, sheep. It's the standard, really. Everyone does them, but I don't see pigs. I've never tried pigs. Sometimes it's difficult to try and understand how you actually make money out of them, but I think it's the sheer rate in which they breed and kind of fatten up, I guess, ready to sell on at a much higher value. You just got to keep an eye on what they're worth a little bit more. Right, we don't need any of that because it will cost extra money. What about the mink colour? That will cost extra money. So we'll leave it standard. Everything's standard. We shall buy that. That will be at the shop. It looks like a standard hitch, so we can do that with the pickup truck, which I think is reasonable. I think that's realistic. If it was any more than maybe 4 pigs, then probably you wouldn't use a pickup truck, but that's fine. So, we just need to head on down. Okay, at the shop, connect up the trailer, cross the road, get our 2 pigs. I got here without too many problems. I actually lost count of how many times I managed to roll the pickup truck that time. It was the excitement of picking up the pigs. But yeah, I think I rolled it a good 8 times maybe, but each time it landed back on its wheels, so it's all good. Right, so 21,085. So we've done well to stay above 20,000. However, what are the options? And again, I'm going to have to take a minute and look at these here, because so you just got a young and an old basically of different types. So that one is 0. Gestation period is 4 months. Puberty is 6 months. So they eat anything, which we know. They require water. This is a piglet. Animals that are healthy and older than 6 months can reproduce. Yeah. So basically, you want a couple that are 6 months, which are going to continue to breed. And then I'm assuming from 4 months old, they're pretty much at the best price to sell. I'm gonna guess. We'll have to figure this out as we're going. Actually, they're way cheaper than I thought. They're much cheaper than I thought. and you haven't got a huge amount of choice. So, yeah, I think we need to go in with 6-month-old, two 6-month-olds, which means that hopefully, or gestation. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about. It means every 4 months they're gonna breed again, doesn't it? Okay. So you can see when you stop and think about it, actually, you can see just how much money you can make. We're only going to make real money though if we get a trailer bigger than 2 pigs. So we're going to have to keep an eye out in the shop for definite. But this honestly could be, if they sell back for £500 every 4 months, and we have 10 of them to sell every 4 months, then we're laughing. It's a nice bit of almost passive income again, isn't it? Which ones do I like the look of? Right, let's go for one of those. And we'll go for a German Landrace. Why not? Right, let's take these little piggies back. Now, we're slightly over 20,000. I think actually what I'm going to do while we're here, pull back over and just buy. I know the straw bales are expensive through the shop, but I want to see if it produces manure without me needing to put kind of an extension. Maybe it has just a little section where the manure builds up. There's only one way to find out, so we might as well do this. Bales, of course. I mean, to be honest, how much does that hold? 5,000. What's that hold? 9,000. Let's just get one of those. Now, one thing I haven't thought about is, are we going to need to use a straw blower? See, now I've kind of rushed into this whole pig thing because I've wanted to have pigs for so long. And now I'm kind of thinking, maybe there's a lot more to it. You know, if I need a straw blower, that's a bit of a pain. Because they're not cheap, and I don't think there's many mod choices, to be honest, especially with it being crossplay. Well, we shall soon find out, I'm sure. Now that may not have looked the prettiest, but that was exactly what I was hoping to do. Definitely. Just need to make sure I don't roll it. Okay, here we are, back at the farm. Or at least the first part of the farm anyway. It's getting bigger every episode now. So we're just going to head straight on through the main farm and head on to the second part. First time we've driven on this track. I estimated the width of the road pretty well. I'm happy with that. Now, let's get these unloaded. I'm pretty sure these would be unloaded here. Just want to see what the animation's like on the... Okay, there isn't an animation on the trailer. That answers that question. Right. Yeah, so we're in the right place. So let's pop that one into the pigsty. And that one. Lovely, look. They look really happy, don't they? Right, now let's have a bit of a fiddle with the straw. Of course, we don't have crossplay. Is it going to disconnect to that trailer? No. Oh dear. Didn't want to do that. There we go. So, we don't have crossplay. So we do have crossplay. We're playing on crossplay. I don't even know what I'm talking about. We don't have super strength, so we're just going to have to hope this bale will suddenly magically appear. Oh, it does. Oh, that is good. I'm very glad about that. Good. So straw. I like it. So we'll just have to bring some water over to them. And bring some of those pig food bags over. Or just one bag, I think we'll probably do for now. And then I'm just going to I think we'll skip forward. We've done everything we needed to do for today, to be honest. So we'll skip forward a day just to see what they've generated and see whether or not we have had any manure appear from anywhere. Now, I'm pretty sure, and I'm kind of hoping this episode is a bit longer than normal. I've been timing it, I've been getting better at timing them, and I think it will be a longer episode, and I want us to do that on purpose, because I've not done a Sask episode now for, it's probably 3, maybe 4 days, but also it's kind of a little bit of an occasion, with the fact that, you know, I'm at 500 subs in what feels to me like really fast time. So yeah, we'll do this. We'll skip the day in this same episode. We'll have a little look at whether or not it has generated the slurry, manure. Once we've done that, we know where we're at. We'll finish off the episode. Now I'm too busy talking. Ironically, I'm talking to myself, because when you're recording, you're not really talking to anyone. I'm kind of talking to myself, hoping that someone is going to listen to me, which is a bit odd when you think about it. But yeah, whilst I am talking to myself, I'm not really concentrating. Same again, hopefully if we pull up close enough, it will just take one of these bags. Failing that, we'll go and get the front loader. Oh, that's pretty good. It's pretty promising. It's taking a lot of food as well. I like that. I like the animal pens that do take a lot. That's good. Do you know what? So far, this is a pretty good little animal pen. This is a decent mod and it looks quite cool. So I'm happy so far. Let's just dump this trailer up, jump into a tractor, and give them a little bit of water, and then we'll just skip through a day. Much smoother now. That's much better. Lovely. Brilliant. You didn't even have to hold the accelerator to stay still then. Alright, we'll just drive this on over to the little piggies, give them some water, and then see how they're doing first thing in the morning. Right, so we'll just have a sanity check. Would you believe all of that food that we put in there has not even half filled it? That's crazy, isn't it? It only holds 15 pigs. It's not even half filled it. The good thing with the pig food is, though, it gives it a nice even variety of the food. I guess the root crops are probably the better option. Let's just have a little read. That doesn't really tell you. Now in FS19 it told you what the base food was, so the base food is covering 50% of what they need, their effectiveness I guess. But what is the base food? I'm assuming it's the corn, the wheat, the barley, it's the grain. But then the grain is underneath it. Difficult to know what the base food is. Because root crops is potatoes, grain is obviously grain. Protein, I mean, I'm not feeding them chicken because we haven't got any chickens. Someone did actually say about I could probably, if it was an open pasture, get the chickens in with the pigs, and I probably could do. But based on this, it looks like the pigs are going to eat them. I don't really fancy that. But yeah, I don't know. We're just going to have to experiment with these pigs. As you can probably tell, I genuinely haven't done pigs on FS22. I barely did them on FS19. So this is all a learning experience. Right, let's skip through a day. have a quick peek at the shop, make sure nothing's appeared, which it hasn't. Right, 18,745. This will be a good chance to see what our actual overnight property maintenance is costing us now as well. Okay, so property maintenance is £194 plus £7 production cost, so just over £200 a day. I'm not going to skip through any more days. This will literally be the view that you see at the start of the next episode. But for a minute, let's have a look at what is going on. Right, so manure definitely isn't on the list, which means we are going to have to put down a kind of manure pit or some sort of storage area, which is fine. We'll do that in the next episode right at the beginning. The straw hasn't actually changed though overnight. I mean, we've actually gained 9 litres of straw, which is kind of odd. But health is 100%, reproduction 25%. So yeah, it is definitely one new pig every 4 months. So every 4 months, you gain pretty much 500 quid by the time you deliver them, which of course is my standard rule. You have to deliver them back. So £500 per pig. So if we keep the next few, yeah, we can do alright out of that. We can do alright, and to be honest, they don't take a lot of effort. Not at all, really. So, next episode, little sneak peek. Grass probably isn't ready to go. No, I mean it's ready to harvest, but we've put a lot of work into it. So that will need just one more day. Then we're going to have a heck of a lot of grass. And I mean a lot. Yeah, I mean we made 60,000 litres out of that. You know, there could be 200,000 litres of grass here. I'm happy with that. That will be the game changer. That will probably be the swather, maybe a harvester, and maybe we can start getting into some of these real crops on this map. So I don't think we're far away. I don't think we're far away at all. So thank you very much. This is, I really hope it's a longer episode, because I have tried to do that on purpose. People do comment to say that the longer episodes are a bit better. I think my last couple have been around 20 minutes, which is a bit short for me really. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for all the comments. Thanks to all the new subs as well. You know, 500 from 74 to 500 in less than 2.5 months is, in my eyes, that's incredible. So obviously, yeah, my voice isn't that irritating, hopefully. But thank you very much, and until the next one, cheers and gone.